Hey, welcome to another episode of the Cryptosparta Podcast. It's November 7th, and I'm here with Brian and yeah, Pumpvember, Upvember,
Moonvember, I think it's what
Moonvember.
what they're
Yeah,
calling it.
Uptober is like good, but
But now
Upvember, Moon
Moonvember, there it's a carry on over to November. So we're doing pretty good in the market. Right? I mean, it was like pretty down, I'd say, during the week where it was like kind of below all-time highs. Bitcoin was like 60,000, ETH was like hovering around like 4,300. But I think a lot of movement was coming, moving down to high cap coins. But now we are recording on a good day where it's pretty green right now. And Bitcoin is, up. It's at 62,000, and ETH is, back at it at that one all-time high level where it's at 4,600. 4,628. So market's been pretty good today, at least. Everything is green, which is good for the portfolio and mental fortitude. But yeah, market's pretty good right now. Can't
dude.
complain.
AVAX is at what? 85?
Yeah, so this week has been so ETH and Bitcoin were down, and then you could see the high cap coins like going up. Like Solana has been like on a tear. It's probably been the best performer in this market. And then AVAX like went down and then it just shot up this weekend. Like it retraced last week back to 62. And shout out Koski, he was asking me about it to buy some. And I was like, yeah, 60 is good, 62. And then now it just shot up to 86. So it's
I
at
mean,
all-time highs right now.
100 when? Like 100. And I see
Yeah,
people,
it's real. Like right now, people don't want to pay for ETH gas fees. Like ETH gas fees are kind of getting ridiculous, where people just trying to move it. Like baseline price is like $100. I know and that's hurting NFT projects too, because I got a notification for one of the NFTs I was eligible for a free mint for, another collection.
then
But
is it
and
even worth it?
well, you just have to pay the gas fees.
But
And
the
but the
gas fees are
gas fee
still,
is like I checked like early in the morning, it was like still $75. So it's like that's still pretty high. So I haven't claimed that yet, but I haven't, been touching anything on ETH, and it's been really good. I think it's people are finding out how easy it is to bridge to AVAX, like just adding that network, and then having AVAX being able to buy on a centralized exchange like Coinbase or KuCoin makes it really easy to just transfer to the AVAX network.
it's
um
still stuck on my OK coin. I
yeah,
don't know
because
how to
you're
pull it
on
off.
OK coin. That's some whack
It's so
some
whack.
third party or like third rate exchange.
Well, I heard about it and I was like, it's the theory, and I was thinking about a couple different things, and one of them, Brian, is that we need to have one of our topics be NFTs. Um, but the other thing is like the original, there are two theses where one, the harder it is to do something, like to figure out how to do it, the earlier you are and the smarter it is. And I was like, okay, how do I buy AVAX? And it was like super long ago, and I couldn't figure out how to
Yeah.
do it. And I finally figured out how to do it. And I was like, this is gonna make me money because I believe it's a good coin, and no one else is gonna be able to buy it. So, and then yeah, I bought it at 60 like a year ago, or no, like, well, literally, it's almost getting to be a year,
6 months, half a
six
year.
months, six
Yeah,
half a year.
6 months for sure.
And so then I don't know how to take it off there. But the other one was until Ethereum scales, gamble on the other ones that are cheaper. So I have Phantom, I have Solana, I have AVAX. They're all pumping,
I
all of
think
them.
this ETH killer scenario, or like this narrative is really playing out right now. And now that like AVAX is like and Solana are like more developed for sure. Um, there's real like it's no longer just like a pipe dream, an idea to, play around on these secondary blockchains. Um, like it's a reality. It's like pretty easy to bridge on Arbitrum or, AVAX. Like all you gotta do is add the network and it kind of figures it out by itself. But yeah, that kind of got me to thinking about um, how we should like think about these blockchains in like cities, like different
Yeah.
metropolitan cities like New York or Chicago, and where it's like some things do things better, but you still go back to, the main one for certain things, right?
Yeah, it's interesting to me too how we're getting into this idea of like a parachain environment where um the same things are on different exchanges, but their volumes are different and it plays out different. So the decentralized exchange on a different network that's like less developed or with less traffic or lower fees is not going to be the same as Uniswap when ETH started taking off, Like
Yeah.
all these ohm forks on different networks and then their different APY and then the transaction costs and the impact of that on different things. And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Ethereum has been talking, and I got tired of waiting for them to do the scaling solutions. I mean, I just was like, and then
Well,
also the weird thing is
yeah.
it impacts me because since I do or did most of my stuff on Ethereum and I've been kind of sitting on my hands recently, um, ETH impacts that. It impacts like the amount of NFTs being created or minted. It impacts if you stake or not. I mean, that friend of mine that we were talking to didn't realize he had to accidentally put in $500 down to stake his Urzdel on Bancor, which was a mistake.
Bancor is hard to. I mean, the APYs are good, but it's not like good enough to,
Unless you're a whale. Yeah.
yeah, to eat that cost unless you're doing it in like the off hours of like 4 in the morning or something.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's interesting how this stuff is impacting NFTs because on the one hand, I mean, yeah, we had that friend, Ben, the Googler, go to NFT New York and meet all these people. And he's telling me that it's going corporate. And they've got like I've seen on Twitter the stuff on Times Square where they got crypto punks on billboards.
they had the
But you
board API club like party or like line.
yeah,
People were like
making monkey noises.
videos. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was telling me
Yeah.
why I wasn't there, but I'm headed to Portugal tomorrow to Lisbon, and then I'll try to meet Daniele Sesta and do the Solana stuff. And I didn't get a ticket to the conference because it's a dev con, but I think that there's already a lot of other events happening in the city, so that'll
Sure.
be exciting. But
And one thing we
I
didn't
mean,
talk about our last time, sorry to interrupt, but Lisbon is becoming, they're trying to attract people, right?
big
To
time.
stay in Portugal, like 0%, um, 0% tax on crypto investments, like
I
easier
was thinking,
pathway
I
to
was
citizenship.
thinking, yeah, there's a golden passport that you just pay money to be able to be there. I was thinking next week we'll go over what I learned and like what I heard when I was there on the ground because I've heard of actual specific people moving. And like when you went to Dubai, you like actually see the people making these decisions that are like it's like you see what you see on the internet, but then you get there in person and then you realize like what the actual impact is, where it's like, okay, dude, we were spending a lot of money on lawyers for advice on what we could and couldn't do, and we had to talk to the government. And then the cost of having people in America was higher and taxes. And we moved to Dubai and everybody saves more money and we don't have to have a lawyer that we have to confer with and we can just focus on what we want to do. And then the math becomes much more clear when you think of it with real life, um, people.
Less overhead costs too, because you're not, dealing with paying for lawyers or like, paying fees to, figure out what to do when you can just do it, right?
I'm in multiple places in Europe where they're like you can get rent for, like $500-ish or euros, or maybe a bit more, a bit less if you're like living in a small room with a couple roommates. And it's a great life. And then your cost of living besides that is pretty cheap because no car, no insurance. And America is, I don't know, I think they're dropping the ball.
Well, you don't even need a car, do you think? Like
No,
everything is just walking or like train or
dude, like we do hour-long
bus?
commutes in our cars and they'll take hour-long trains to different countries and cities.
Yeah.
People do commutes in America that are, oh, let's just go to Marseille, or yeah, Lisbon is not that far. And in
Yeah.
America, that's just people driving from the suburbs to a city
It's
to
big,
go to
yeah, it's
work.
busy from where I live in Minnesota to Minneapolis, or like, you're
Let's go
driving
out
45
party.
minutes. Yeah.
No, let's go to like France. Like it's the
Yeah,
same.
let's go to
Madrid,
Ibiza. Ibiza.
Ibiza. Yeah, let's just, I prefer it here. I think I'm gonna like, I mean, I'll be headed back to the US and then I'll be traveling and stuff, but I
If
like the
we
time here.
ever make it, crypto wise,
Porto,
like
or I mean, Lisbon, yeah.
definitely Lisbon is something I visited there before the pandemic, like 2019, and it's pretty nice, like metropolitan city. Like it's like food is really good too. Like
Eu falo português. Eu já sei, I majored in it at Madison, so
yeah,
it's no problem. I like it.
Daniel
You don't
likes to
even need it
flex
though.
his Portuguese
Yeah, I do.
whenever.
Yeah. But
But
it'll be cool. But I was gonna say some of the things because even I was trying to look at it in terms of what's happening in Lisbon. Um and just in general, Solana. Dude, so there's this narrative that I wanted to tell people about VCs owning and dumping Solana and just the nodes. And then there are other people being like, you don't think Sam Bankman-Fried is just going to be buying Solana to pump up the conference? Like,
I mean, he can,
he literally can just
like
be
he
like, I'm just going
can.
to add 1 billion to the.
With what he's done in like advertising, just throwing money at
Hey,
things
Sam,
just to have
Sam
FTX like
Tabasco.
named. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Tabasco. Let's just have Alameda go 5x on Sol for the conference.
But the thing is too, there's been a lot of bullish news about Solana in recent weeks leading up to the conference too. There's a
So
lot of VC funding closing on certain aspects, trying to scale up Solana too. Like CoinShares has been invested. There's like a lot of these rounds that they've gotten a lot of funding.
there's this one image that I was going to look at, and it was kind of like a story that people don't talk about. And it was like, okay, I have it right here. I'll send it to you first. But it's like um all of the stuff behind the scenes, we talk about these surface narratives, you know,
Mhm.
that we see on Twitter, but then we're not looking at the actual like corporate stuff. So Brian, you want to read them off?
Yeah. So SoftBank leads 95 million investment in Sandbox Sand, which is a coin on Solana. Uh, DCG raises the valuation stands at 10 billion after 700 million secondary investment round. So I'm just gonna like scroll and summarize. It's basically like $100 million investments
From companies. And
from
then you
from
see, yeah,
mainstream companies like Nike, Microsoft, FC Barcelona,
yeah.
um,
Chamat,
EA
Solana
Sports.
Ventures, EA Sports, and then they're talking about things like blockchain games, Xbox gaming, NFT branded sneakers.
No, but the thing about the moves too, like and Nike, to harp on that point, like they're filing licensing trademarks to trademark their sneakers in the metaverse. Like that's kind of crazy, where
That's
it's like
in the metaverse, you can't
in the
use Nike.
metaverse,
Yeah,
like unless you pay Nike, they're trademarking, having, Jordans or or Nike Dunks in the metaverse, like to make it realistic. But this honestly, with all the big name corporations like filing patents and trademarks and trying to get into the metaverse. Do you remember the in Silicon Valley where they had the VR setup? And it's just basically ads to get funding. And
Yeah.
like his metaverse is like his VR world is basically just full of advertisements, of bars in different places. So I feel
Yeah.
like
And
that's kind of where it's going.
people have talked about like imagine the metaverse is like 90s internet with just like ads and pop-ups. Like
AOL,
you
like
yeah, no, because I think they did it in like Idiocracy or maybe it was some like other movie or something where it was just like a guy walking down the street and it was like, "Hey man, so dude, what's up? Like I have this store and like you want to get these pills that make your dick bigger?" Like you're
you want
just,
to be in the metaverse? You want to get your
yeah.
dick sucked in the metaverse?
Oh, yeah, yeah. If every single person, if Tom, instead of being the MySpace guy, if every time you like walk in, it's just Zuck being like, "Hello there, human." I
Well,
mean,
they made somebody made an edit of his metaverse video of
with
like
the with what's that one show, Black Mirror? It's like the
yeah,
same. Yeah,
exactly the same guy. It's the guy Daniel Kalua. I'm mispronouncing his last name, but
I was like,
guy
really? Kahlua. Yeah.
it's Kaluuya. But
Mm.
he was the guy in Get Out, but he was
Yep.
in that
Yep.
episode and
Yep.
he's
Yep.
just sitting there with his like face down, like, and he's in a room of the metaverse. But it's kind of crazy where
Yeah, and he
it's
broke out, and then he became like a influencer in the metaverse on that episode.
yeah, yeah, because he was
Kind
so
of,
successful too. Or like he
he was
was
talking
doing
shit
the
about the
cat.
metaverse, and then everyone was like, "Yeah, tell us about it."
Yeah,
And then they watched him, and he became a caster. Oh
yeah, dude, it's like those
no, and yeah,
shows are
Decentraland
becoming.
and stuff were pumping, and like
Yeah,
I saw recently Zuby, he's like a internet character. I say character, I mean they're people, but it's like a
personality.
yeah personality. Yeah. And then he was talking about getting some space in Decentraland. And then
Well,
now it's like, dude, who is gonna get Facebook? Like, who wants to be in a centralized,
land and
like,
Axes is like expensive. Like
yeah,
getting land
yeah.
and Axes is like worth millions.
I saw a tweet where someone was like, "Oh man, well, looks like America, like the deficit's pretty high. I guess we're gonna need to introduce some democracy to Singapore so that, or no, what is it, Malaysia or Philippines?
Yeah.
You got to bring some democracy to their Axie's Infinity like country." Like,
Uh,
I mean, Axes, it's like oil, like, and I can't imagine. I saw one of them where it was like, for those of you guys that don't know, and I don't know much about Axes, it's like weird where you're like breeding. It's kind of like
it's like
Pokemon or
Neopets
yeah, it's
back
like
in the day if you're a
Neopets.
90s baby, but um like you have like this like cartoon pet that you raise and try to breed basically. And you can fight, do other things with it. And it's just like raising a pet basically. And
And
you
it's like
can
the
make
minimum one is like
60,000.
1 ETH. Yeah, you can make
You can
tons
make
of money.
60,000 a year doing it. And that's what and in Philippines that's a lot of money for sure, right?
And so I'd seen one of them where it was like some people from like a village or something, or like they weren't well off, like they were broke as shit.
Yeah.
Not to be offensive, but they were like they went from that to millionaires, and they were doing like some stupid party,
I'm
and
sure
it
the
was
cost of
hilarious.
living is so low.
Well, and then they make yeah the food is very cheap there, from what I understand. Like you can live off nothing,
Very
but
similar
there's
to
still like
Thailand.
poverty. Yep, yep, yep. And like, but these people were just like they were like success, like they were good at the game, and it was like a group of friends or something, and they were just like
Well,
I don't
I
know.
don't even think you need to be good at the game. I think you just need to grind. Like, like just like repetitive things like,
Yeah,
farm, claim, that kind of stuff. It's like similar to any video game. If you want to level up, you just got to put in the work. So I'm sure like you could like have these farms of people just doing um you know, very basic stuff in the game just to like earn stuff. Like, move your mouse like every hour to claim the wood, or like people talk about RuneScape a lot too back in the day. Like that was like the
That was the
first
thing, is like people were like,
OG
I was good at RuneScape,
metaverse.
and then I immediately became like good at crypto.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of the OGs were just like, yeah, it's just kind of like an onboarding of, and then like also a good amount of WoW people or people from WoW being
Or
like, I totally get NFTs.
Age of Empires too.
You know, there's a lot
Just
of Age
like
of Empires. I mean, it's just a generation of people that we grew up with
yeah,
basically that were nerds. Like,
more nerds than us that are
I
able to
know, like I
capitalize on
felt kind of
their.
nerdy, but
I
I'm kind
mean,
of
we
glad
we
that I'm not
played
that.
these games, but we were never like next level where like,
Well, we
oh
played sports too, and
yeah,
like had clubs and
diversification. It's like different where it's like range, right? You talk about range, having your finger in everything. Like people specialize in sports. These guys like specialized in video games, like back when video games weren't cool, like are like considered like nerdy. But now it's like pretty mainstream.
well, I just recently read a brief thread, and it was one of the interesting tweets where someone had asked, "What's this one day that like that had like changed your life?" And
I saw that too.
yeah, did you see the Kobe one?
Yeah, where he's like, I bought Bitcoin off because a professor talked about it on this shady exchange. I
And then he tried to
10x.
swap it for Cork coin,
Yeah. And then he
but then
realized
he
he got rugged.
but then
Because
he
or
couldn't
like,
get it out,
yeah.
and then it 3x'd, and then he swapped it into Bitcoin, and he was like, "I've been addicted ever since."
So
And
he
then you
ended up
read what
10x
his
on it.
stuff was. Yeah,
30x technically, so three times 10.
yeah,
Um, but yeah. And he's on a private jet, like he's on vacation. There hasn't been up
yeah,
only recently because he's on vacation.
yeah.
But
Just traveling through Africa.
he deserves it, man. Is he in
Yeah,
Africa? I
yeah.
saw a beach, so I didn't know if it was Africa
Kenya,
or not. Oh,
I
dope.
think. Yeah, but he's like flying around, yeah, in a private jet.
Yeah, in a
Like,
private jet. He's worth like 30
gotta be
million.
ton. Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And I'm
I mean,
sure
he had
like
like what, like
after COVID,
11,000 ETH. Like
yeah,
that was the
after
one where you see his wallet, and you're just like, what? He's like, yeah, I've been farming it since it came out. I was there for
yeah.
the initial
Well, I'm
sale.
sure he's like has a high amount staked in Lido, which he has, an investment in. But yeah, he's doing
Well,
well
they're
and he
sponsored by
deserves it.
Blockfolio. Yeah.
Yeah, or FTX now.
Yeah. Yeah.
FTX. But yeah, especially after COVID, people haven't been traveling, and especially in London too. That was pretty bad.
They got locked up
COVID. Well,
like
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, worse than the U.S. I'd say. I mean, similar to like New York, I'd say, where
Mhm.
people couldn't go out, or like everything was closed down.
Did you have an answer for it?
Answer for that, and I mean, it
Yeah.
hasn't changed my life yet.
No, but the one day, like, there must be some day that you just realize like something happened that like changed your life.
I think, I mean, this might be a shill or something where like I'm imagining it. Um,
No, a day in the past that actually happened.
oh, like where this probably changed my life.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say because it's like still close, but like if I make a lot of money off like Ursel, that would be the change in life where it's like you called me talking about Ursel, or like talking about MetaMask, and like saying you're making like this company, and I started like looking into it and I just like aped in. That'd be like kind of life changing, huh?
I mean, it is. It must have already been, honestly, because I didn't even think about it that way. But I mean, I've been thinking about that. That feels like a long thing over time. But I had just like mentioned on mine where I was like, I had done my GMAT,
Yeah.
and then I got a decent score. But my dad said, like, who cares? Take it again. And I was like, I was in India, and I was like, it's a couple $100. And he's like, I'll send you the money. Just take it again.
Yeah.
And then I got like 2 deciles better, and I got in the 90th percentile.
Hmm.
So I got a 700 on the MBAT or the GMAT. And that day I just got day wasted in Mumbai, and was just like, I called Billy, and I was just like, I can go wherever I want to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
But then I had to go and tell Varsha, I was like, I got a really good
Yeah,
score.
leave.
I'm gonna go in MBA and leave this and start a new chapter. And so that was just trippy because I like saw a different aspect of Kobe when you really read it, where he started in 2013,
Yeah, that's like
and
bleak.
I'd never
Honestly,
heard of Coin. Like,
well,
what the fuck is
I wouldn't
Coin?
even touch a shady exchange. Like that's why, like when I first heard about crypto in 2017, I was like, where do you even buy it? Like some shady website that you like swap your money. Like people think Uniswap is like kind of shady now, but
Uniswap is like
it's like
chill.
safe to me. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
chill. So it's
No, I've
just
done
like,
some dicey things. Like, really, dude. Yeah, moving that stuff to Phantom and like, I'm gonna have you set up my homies on the AVAX bridge. But like, bridging is like the first time you do it, it's shady. Like,
oh, for sure, because you don't realize what you're doing. Like you're like, oh,
like you have to do it,
what if
and
I
it costs
bridge more?
money. Yeah,
What if I
and
bridge
I mean,
wrong? Not more, but if
the
what if I
barrier
bridge
to
wrong?
entry is so high. But I would say like doing those things are what make you money because you're like, this is a no-brainer, but it's gonna take me a
First
fucking pain.
first mover advantage. I will say that. Like if you learned how to do it now, like people who are just buying AVAX on Coinbase, they don't even want to try. Like they're just like I'm investing on the potential basically. Or like they're just holding Solana, they're holding AVAX just because it's a high market cap coin. And they'll just hold it on Coinbase and not even move it to MetaMask to
No,
bridge or to even stake. And
and
so
maybe
right now moving to AVAX or like figuring out how to bridge, it save yourself a lot of time in maybe a couple years from now. It'll be a paid off experience to spend like 30 minutes. Honestly, it's very easy to bridge. Like
it's not though, dude. I just don't want to do it, and I think I have a different excuse because I've done these things before, but I have wariness. Like I've done enough,
I think
and then I'm
from
not
if
back
you're
in the
not
mindset of what I
from
used to be in. But for
yeah,
most average people, they're like, because even
no.
people still are like,
If you have if you're in like a tech or like an engineering or like a tech background or like a software background, doing this stuff is very like I think very simple or very like not that hard. But
but you know what
people
I've
make it
learned? You know
more
what those,
complicated.
you know what those people usually, dude, the engineers that I learn are not as interested in investing,
Yeah,
literally.
because did you see that TikTok where that guy was like he was debunking. So somebody from crypto Twitter tweeted that people are quitting their 9 to 5s to join crypto companies, crypto startups,
Oh yeah, and it was like
and
the
then he
yeah,
responded, it's like people aren't doing that. Like I can make 300,000 at IBM stock options, do this, blah 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 blah, and very easy thing, and work on blockchain projects within IBM or whatnot, and I'll make 300,000 with stock options. No one is leaving that job to work at crypto companies, but it's like a more like you are doing something for the
that was
future.
that was an interesting argument because on the one hand, the dude had a point, and on the
Yes,
other hand,
300,000
there,
with stock option, IBM stock options, that's a lot of money.
and then you can take that money and just invest it in crypto anyways.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing that I learned in Dubai was that the people that were in it, they were in it already from the beginning. And then there's
Mhm.
new younger people, but I think that the bridge, like you're saying, kind of, and what I'm saying is that like, dude, the engineer doesn't go from like tech to crypto or to crypto investing because the tech engineer, and it's kind of like I met, some people where they're engineers and like especially with like the Indian guys where they look at the tech and they talk about it. But I'm like, so what do you invest in? And they're like, I don't invest in anything. And I'm
They're
just like,
just
what?
observing. They're just
Yeah.
like
No, but
observing
they don't
and making.
observe the market, they observe the tech.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm just like, so you're not involved with the community on Twitter, or you're not making money off of investing in crypto. And like, if anything, they'll have like savings in gold and land. That's like the Indian style. But they know more about the tech than I
Yeah.
do. But it's like, what's the point? Like, why would you look
Yeah,
at it that way?
I mean, now, I
I'm
mean,
just
the fun thing about crypto
in
is
it
that
for the
you
tech.
can,
Like they
well,
literally are
you
in it for the
can
tech. And I'm
make a
like, that's
lot of
stupid.
money. Yeah. So the thing about crypto that I mean, for me, it's like the tech is interesting, obviously, but you can make a lot of money off of it. Like it's possible to make a lot of money. So like if the fact that you're just like observing the tech, that's like, I mean, good on you for, expanding
So
your knowledge base,
they're
but
they're building these crypto companies and they're
yeah.
building the tech that I'm in, like Go Bazinga or the other people that I've met. But it's
Mhm.
interesting where I've tried to like, stereotype like these different profiles of there's the crypto techie who doesn't invest in crypto. And then there's the crypto business dude who doesn't understand crypto and also doesn't really invest much in crypto. And I'm telling you, I met business people and I'm like, so what are you investing in? And they're like, spot Bitcoin ETF. I'm just like, what? You're not like getting into Uniswap or like, and they're like, nah,
Yeah.
man, I don't have time for that stuff. I'm just doing business meetings. Like I make a salary.
They don't
And
want
I'm
the
like, you
they
don't
don't want
play,
the
they don't play
stress.
around. Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't
they
play
don't
around
want the
with it. And I'm just like,
stress.
and then there's very few nerdy people that are in between that also trade.
That's
Because some of the people I
yeah.
think are paycheck to paycheck, once you get to 30-ish and you have a real job,
Or like you
it's
have
in
a
crypto.
family or like
Yes,
you're
that's exactly
engaged.
it.
Those people are if you're newly married, you are most likely not getting into crypto
I
because
was telling people, or I was telling this one guy, and he was just like, I was like, yeah, like, do you invest or did you get any NFTs? And I was like, my friends were telling me about it, but I had a wedding to pay for. And I
yeah.
was like, well, there goes like a big chunk of your
Well,
fucking
it's
savings.
like, yeah. So my buddy, my biotech buddy from grad school, when I talked about this in, probably April, May, try to
It
get
would
him
have been
into
a,
Chainlink or something. I
yeah.
mean, it was like when he bought some Urzel. I taught him to MetaMask and everything, but like, he didn't put that much into it because, he had, other obligations. He's saving for a house, that kind of stuff. And like, I mean, kids are expensive these days. Like, don't get me wrong. So it's like you're trying to save with something that's tangible, which is like your job, your 9 to 5 or whatnot.
Yeah. And then you're kind
So
of just
it's really
wrapped up
hard.
in it,
I
but
mean, you can't blame those people, but it's just like
no.
those are just the type of people that are not gonna invest in crypto
And
because it's risky.
the interesting thing for me was like I was talking with my dad about risk and performance and portfolio. And I was like kind of like cringing a bit because he has like a good chunk of his stuff. He gets into some new stuff and he's been playing around with it more, but he's very busy with his 9 to 5. And but like a big chunk of his stuff was just in Bitcoin and ETH. And I was just
That's
like,
not a bad
lame.
thing to go,
It
but
isn't. And
it's
he's like,
like
I'm
boring.
making better money than like stocks.
It's just
And I'm
boring.
just like, how much soul did you get? And he was like, it's not a fraction, but it's a smaller portion of. And I'm like, I don't hold any Bitcoin or ETH anymore besides enough
Yeah,
ETH
me
to like
neither.
move stuff around. And then yeah, Sol, Avex, the Phantom is popped off. Um, I mean the other shit coins, I got out of most of my NFTs, and yeah, we didn't really address the NFT Winter and how all that stuff has been going.
I mean, this is another thing. I got an offer on my Pudgy present, and that's kind of like
I got
my
one too. Point
that's
one
kind
two,
of
point one
yeah,
four,
0.12. So that's kind of
point
like
one two.
my like wavelength or like my dip into the temperature
It's
of the
all the
NFT.
same, and it's worse actually
Well,
for
I
most
looked at
things.
the
A lot
floor
of stuff
of
going to
Pudgy
zero.
present.
Yeah,
I looked at the floor of Pudgy Penguins or Pudgy Presents, and it's 0.095. Like
yeah.
that is crazy. Like I kind of want to buy another one,
I know.
0.095. Like
I was
that's like right
kind
now
of
it's like
gonna say
500
this,
bucks.
where it's like, I mean, it's 600 with the gas fees,
Well, yeah,
and
NFTs aren't going away. So like that's
yeah,
definitely not so like it's just a bad everyone. I saw a tweet the other day where it was just like everyone in crypto has such a short-term focus, and that no one is holding any coin for over a year because that
The
feels like a
average
century.
holding is like 6 days.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
I didn't even know that. Like, I was like, "Where's that statistic?" Like,
You
let me
can
see
see it
some
on
sources.
Coinbase.
Yeah,
Or no, there's another place that there's like some place because I've seen it, they do it coin by coin where
yeah.
it's like 6 days average
I
holding
mean,
period. And you're like, well, who is doing this?
I
Like,
get that feeling where it's like you want to move stuff because you're constantly checking things, and things are like 24/7 where it's like things are moving. So I get that you want to move it, but like zoom out for a bit. Like look at Bitcoin performance the past 2 years. Like look at ETH the past 2 years. Look at AVAX last or this year. Look at Solana. They're up
no,
like
just look at market cap.
2,000.
Look
Yeah,
at total market cap of crypto.
it's growing. It's crazy. So for people who are just like observing or just want to like we're early. I mean, we harp on this a lot. Like we are early. Like it's crazy. And like I've been in this in like for 9 months. Like I'm not even
It's looking bullish going forward.
exactly.
Especially the thing is, we're listing off that thing that I had sent Brian with all the big name corporations and the investment funds. Once it gets corporate, then it won't get regulated because then the real money starts lobbying.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
once Nancy Pelosi's invested, all bets are off. Like no more regulation.
But one of the things I was thinking and saying about NFTs is like kind of like you're right, where if you have conviction that something's a blue chip, it was weird to me. Parallel Alpha did a pack drop.
Yeah. Did he get in that?
No,
You're trying to. I
I
know.
didn't care. No, it was like off hours, and I just didn't. I'm not trying to play. I mean, I have some money that I'll probably throw into time with you after this, but I mean, I kind of do want to buy a lot of parallel cards. The price is just rock bottom.
Wait, so put in time, wait 90. I mean, if you wait a year and then you can buy all the parallel cards you want.
I'm still waiting to see what happens with Parallel because they haven't fully delivered.
Good.
And then now with their new cards, the market is much more saturated. Dude, it's down to 0.08. I think I
NFTs right now are draining right now.
yeah. And
And
so then
it's
you kind of gotta I think that it's like you bet on what's gonna hang around. And I think that there'll be like another altcoin where if ETH is gonna keep going up, people are gonna sell their NFTs, which I did, and I fucking timed it
no,
pretty well.
you were pretty good, honestly. Like
I got
enhance
out my moon cat and my pudgy penguin,
at near the top of the
and I'm
current
looking to buy
market.
back in. Not the
No.
top, but I mean, yeah, pudgy penguins
No,
are
no,
way more hyped.
of the current like vibe
Yeah.
of
But
like,
before the NFTs really
three
started
month
souring, but
three
I think that
month
like there must be some shady market makers who are playing with people's heads because like NFT New York, like Bitcoin conference, like all these. But I mean, on the flip side, the Phantom conference, and I'm bullish on the Solana conference.
I'm
But
actually like trying to get
NFT
into.
New York, like, I mean,
So
I don't know.
what I
It just
sent
doesn't seem
you
like an
before.
investment, but it's like if you like stuff and you're willing to hold it to zero, it's a good time to buy NFTs. But what I
Well,
wanted to talk about was
NFTs.
Solana NFTs.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you could mention about the Immutable X NFTs.
Well, I was about to say like NFTs aren't going away because it's a tax incentive,
Yeah,
right? Money laundering, art,
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So people will always buy art. It's just like you just gotta
No, and Ben had
put your
talked to me.
name.
You had talked to Ben too, or you'd seen his
I
photo with
didn't. I
people.
just
Like
saw his photo with people. I didn't talk to Ben.
I chatted with him, and he told me that there was like
No,
corporate executives like hosting parties. Like there was just a hosted party every night with free booze.
we should
Come
have
here
went.
and I should have went. I know. I didn't want to spend like $3,000.
Yeah, New York is expensive.
It's gross, and I'd rather be here. Here, I also have work to do, so this is a good home base
Yeah,
temporarily.
I'd
But
rather be in Barcelona too, honestly.
no, we're looking for, and this could be a potential shout out for a sponsor, but I think I'll be doing it personally with my connections. Is that we'll be doing a crypto case competition with my school, hopefully. So depending on which of my partnerships decides to come through, that'll be a cool thing to do, is to get some MBAs involved. And also I'll be opening an internship position for them next summer. And we're hiring also more marketing people abroad in India, as well as looking for an intern in the US. So if somebody actually is out there, from what I understand, there are people listening besides Nick, but um yeah, if people are interested
We're
in,
on Apple now. We're on Apple
oh, we
Podcast.
are on Apple.
We've
We
been
need the
on.
backdated ones on YouTube, and we need a new photo, you and I, for
Yeah,
the
we do need.
background.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
Gabe and
kind of
I in
left out,
Spotify.
and he's not even
Yeah,
on
it's
the
lame.
podcast anymore.
I know, right? I mean, he'll be back once I get back to the US, but I mean, yeah, I'm not
He's more
planning.
of a guest.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, might as well wind it up and go to Shills.
Well, do you want to, before we go to shows, do you want to talk about the Solana conference and you going to Lesbian? Or did you think you already touched on that?
I was gonna wait until I went because honestly,
Oh,
I've been
okay.
like mentally busy, and
So when is
I'm not
that
really prepared.
specifically? When
It's
is it?
tomorrow. It's tomorrow for 3 days.
Okay.
And so then I'll be staying for that. But apparently there's weeks and weeks of stuff and people have already been there.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Meltem Demir's.
The Moors, yeah.
And she's gonna be there too.
I
Tomorrow. She
should
has
meet
an event.
her. I know
I'll
Daniele Sesta is there as well.
I'll forward you whatever. She's gonna be at an event. Block something, but
Yeah, of course. Some
yeah.
I've got Manya that she already did a list of stuff for me. I just don't we don't have a good back and forth when she does these planning things for me in different countries. So I gotta
Yeah.
ask her again.
But okay, so we're going on to shows. And so, Daniel, do you want to go first or should I go first? Because I have a lot of shit. I have like 2-3 shows that I can just pop off.
I also have 2 or 3 shows, and it's a throwback, but dude, I just have this feeling like in my gut that Chainlink is gonna pop.
I was about to say that too. That was one of my shows.
Got you good.
Yeah,
Got
you
you
beat me
good.
to it. I gave you I was being polite.
We were talking about it already. No, I know. But I mean, if you know, you know. Like,
so the thing
didn't
is
read,
that
not selling. Although I need to buy back in.
There's a lot of the 4chan posts coming out of all these. There's a lot more advertisements coming out, and there was a recent like mainstream article on Cointelegraph how big a jump that Chainlink did this year. Like they locked in they went from 7 billion TVL to 75 billion.
Yeah.
And that's crazy considering the price hasn't really changed since March. When I started looking into it or when I started buying.
And Moore's Law.
No, it's Metcalfe's,
yeah.
Metcalfe's law, where it's like
and Moore's Law.
Both. What's Moore's Law?
But you're right. I meant Metcalfe's. But Moore's Law is the one where Moore's Law is the one where every 6 months the computing power increases by double and gets half the price.
Yeah. So, but the thing with,
but in general, like the more transactions, that's Metcalfe's law. Like every node in
integrations,
network exponentially increases. Like, and basically, like I mean, Chainlink is inevitable. Like, but like
no, but
there
they
was
actually
that
said that in the article. So in the Chainlink article on Cointelegraph where they announced the TVL, they're like, Chainlink is, an oracle for all blockchains. Like it is the backbone of crypto.
Don't bet on a blockchain. Bet on like the background
ecosystems.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. I saved the tweet, but like you see, there's more Link buzz, and you see all these high market caps that are pumping Solana, Avalanche. It's just a matter of time that Link pumps. Like Link is like Link wants to in the way that tokenomics work too. There's more opportunity to suppress the price, because the nodes are getting paid in Link node validators, so they're getting
Yeah, the supply will eventually start getting decreased.
but it's
Although
inevitable.
I'm not sure if the tokenomics like totally makes sense, but it'll be that's like a whole thing to look at, and that's like getting in the weeds. But I got another one for you.
Yeah.
And I wanna once I get on my computer to do this time thing with you, I'm gonna look into my Soul wallet. If you want
I
a
want a
degen,
soul play.
if you want a degen shitcoin, woof on Solana. And you
Okay.
remember where I was like so obsessed, where I was like,
Yeah, I
I'm
got
getting on
10,000.
Solana to be able to get. I need an airdrop. Like I'm gonna feel like a failure if I don't get an airdrop. And I got airdropped on Soul Wallet. I have Froggy and Woof, and I think I have like 450 million Woof tokens. I don't know what they're worth, but I think it's up. Like, you want to look at the chart?
I gotta look
Dude.
for Solana DAX.
So it's Woof Solana, and then it's a meme coin. It has no inherent worth, but it's deflationary when you sell. So you're incentivized to hold.
Okay.
And yeah, I would say, okay, so I'm looking at the chart on Coin Market Cap, and dude, it's so hard to read these ones.
So the thing is,
Got to do like 10 to the negative third or
you
something.
made a mistake going on Coin Market Cap. You got to use CoinGecko. CoinGecko is more precise. Like, because Coin Market Cap only gives you 3 or 4 decimals. Like, it rounds up.
So dumb. Yeah, it's so annoying.
So CoinGecko is more exact. So Wolf token is 0.00462396. So you probably
I have 0.004904.
But the thing is, so 90 days. You're 90. So when did you get your airdrop?
A long time ago.
Yeah. So 90 days, 30 days, it's up 56,000% the last 30 days. So your wolf is worth something.
I know.
It's not worth nothing.
No, I have like a lot of digits, and I also have Froggy Coin. And so there's Woof, and now there's some other ones. There's like several meme coins
instead of your Pudgy Penguin.
I mean, selling the Pudgy Penguin, I'm trying to buy it back, but the Pudgy Penguin floor is 1.39 now.
Oh,
I'm glad I got 2. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5.
Or no, I got 2.5. Yeah, I got 2.5.
You killed it.
I just felt it in my bones. Sometimes they go with your bones. So there's that. And then for my last show, and I was gonna ask you about this, but it's one of those things where I was just like, I'm just getting these feelings in my bones where you just ape.
Yeah.
And Mikhail talked about doing the liquidity pairs of wrapped AVAX and
he went in.
What is it? Wrapped AVAX and Storm? And wrapped AVAX and what was it?
Is it Storm? Storm and Cycle.
Yeah, what are those? I don't even know, but I'm like, probably a good idea. Like, this is some degen shit where you're getting into liquidity pools on AVAX of coins I don't even know. It's probably a good idea. Like, AVAX is going up.
I know Trader Joe, but that's
I asked him about impermanent loss, and he was just like, whatever, YOLO.
Yeah. I mean, when you're that early to like a coin, impermanent loss is not that much of a hit. Right?
Well, also at the end of the day, it's like your two sides are like some altcoin that might go to the moon,
and
then if you have like
AVAX.
or AVAX, yeah. So it's like if AVAX goes up, you kind of don't loot. Yeah, I'm sending you a funny meme though. But you can go ahead and
yeah. So my show is basically passive income on like time, or
Yeah.
or some kind of stake solution
Oh,
where,
popsicle?
well,
What's
popsicle is a
popsicle?
vehicle, is another
Yeah.
vehicle. That's like, I think it's like LP pools on steroids, because there's that impermanent loss issue. But Daniel, you know, dude's,
Sesta Daniele.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
giga brained.
I'm
It's
trying to meet him. Yeah.
it's a self-optimizing LP pool. So it will self-optimize to minimize your impermanent loss. That's what, I was reading, just off Twitter, that I need to look into. So I'm not like fully prepared to like show that, or like name that as my show, but it's definitely like something to look into, where it's like he could have, so like it like rebate, or like it automatically adjusts to like impermanent loss, where it's like an LP pool with AI, like, tendencies, which is like kind of, like I said this last week,
That
he's
stuff,
he's a giga
that
brain.
stuff, that stuff weirds me out though, man. You seen what happened to Zillow?
Oh yeah, that that's
That's
some
AI gone
macroeconomic,
wrong.
yeah, because they just
And
so
then they
yeah,
were
they're
talking
buying
about like
houses.
Su was talking about how like you can't have an AI do a human's thing because of pattern and
Yeah,
like external factors, and like they're selling houses at a loss because their AI told them to buy them.
it's and they're going bankrupt.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
because no one's buying houses, and then they'll end up selling to BlackRock. But that's a bigger
They're
story.
selling to BlackRock, and
Yeah.
it's just like a shell game. Like,
Yeah, it's like housing market. Yeah,
well, that's the scary thing where people are just like, yeah, they're all scared of Skynet and AI. And then it was like a photo of like a Tesla that like someone had drawn a circle around it. So like it thought that it couldn't leave because it couldn't cross a white line. Like the AI people are scared of.
it's like the Roomba.
Yeah. 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 So
Yeah,
I don't know. I
but
mean, the automatically, and I was rewatching one of the old up onlys where they were talking about that one stablecoin Feg, and then the peg broke, and it's just like, and you
yeah.
talk about like tether like breaking, like there's some shady stuff going
Well, that's
on.
why Ohm and Time, and
The
those Ohm
real reserve
forks,
currencies.
those
Yeah.
reserve currencies are definitely worthwhile to get into. Getting back to my on point, which is like my show is, I think it's good if you are the type of crypto person that wants to forget about something, and you
The
know
auto compounding is a big
if
relief.
you can get over the fact that you're doing like something risky, like throw so do so for me, my personal story is I put 1500. Like if you can afford 1500, less than, that's not, I don't know, for me that's not too much, where um
It's not a
that,
car. It's not life changing money, but
yeah,
you,
it's not
it's a
like,
considerable
and
savings.
if you
It's a
lose
considerable.
it, it doesn't hurt me that much, where it's like that's maybe a month or 2 weeks worth of work, or if you're making, or a month worth of work. And so and just watch it auto compound, like forget about it, like put 1,000 in, figure out how to bridge to AVAX. There's you can call out, use our consulting services, or you can look up, or I don't know, there's Twitter threads or whatnot. But
Yeah. What is the
to
one thread though that you sent? Because that one thread is the best one. Who's it
um
by?
Green Pill,
Yeah.
he does threads for every single fork. So if you want to do like
Z20
time, Z20, which is on poly or
Arbitrum.
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 You want to do Klima, which is, has some environmental mission in addition. That's on Polygon. There's SPA, which is
Yeah. Shout
shout
out.
out SPA, our high school, or Spartacus, which is on Phantom, your favorite network.
Yeah.
And then
That is my favorite.
they're getting like 500, six-figure APY. And so he does guides for all of that, even spell. And if you stake it, you gain some auto compounds every 8 hours. And then the thing that I'm like been looking into, that
Oh,
I sent
restaking.
Daniel, I sent
Yeah.
Daniel the the Twitter thread where it's like you can use abracadabra, which is spell that whole ecosystem to use your
And get into
stake,
some pools. Yeah, get in the pools
use
and
your stake position as collateral to put it back into time or your stake position, and the like APY difference on your loan that you're borrowing and the rate that you're getting in 8 hours is, way
astronomical.
way
Yeah,
outsets your
the
difference.
arbitrage is insane. Yeah.
The arbitrage is insane, and not insane. So yeah, start off with passive income. Get on that, because it's just you're auto compounding like crazy. I don't know how they do it. Don't ask me like how they can get the APY so high, but that it's possible. And I've been in it for like a month and it worked. Like it hasn't rugged. Danielle is gigabrained and he's behind time. And so,
Well,
I'm
let's wrap
just
it up there.
super
Hopefully, I can
bullish.
meet
Yeah.
Daniele. Skull
Yeah.
Vikings, they're up 7-3, and let's
Yeah.
get these.
I
Let's just
rambled
chill.
on.
Also, our let's chill our consultancy services for people to understand. Though, if you would like to pay Brian and I, we will set you up for a nominal fee of roughly $100 to $200, depending on if we like you.
We will help you onboard you to MetaMask and get on these coins if you need help. But
Yeah.
yep, so that's there. Thank you for
This is
listening.
Sparta. Thanks, Nick.
This is Cryptosparta episode 26, I believe, November 7th. All right, peace.
Peace.